Story begins with a boy named Errol sitting down to lunch with his family. His father can't help but look at him with surprise, wondering how his son can remain so calm. "I couldn't sleep at all thinking about what hero class you'll get," he admits. His mother chimes in with her own excitement, her voice cheerful and full of hope. Errol's sister beams with confidence, assuring the family that her brother will surely outshine every one of his classmates. Their mother even adds that Errol will probably draw the attention of countless girls with his charm. This, however, makes his sister worry, afraid that her precious brother might be taken away from her. But unlike his hopeful family, Errol quietly keeps his expectations grounded. In his heart, he thinks he'll just turn out to be another average boy. In this world, hero classes are sacred gifts bestowed by a higher being once children turn 10 years old. These blessings grant unique talents and specialized skills that shape the path of their lives. When the day of the blessing ceremony arrives, all the students gather in the school hall. A priest begins with the first child, placing his hand upon the boy's forehead. He instantly envisions flames and hammers, a sign of his blacksmith class. Overjoyed, he runs back to his father, pride shining in his eyes. One by one, the priest continues his ritual with the remaining children. When Errol's turn finally comes, his sister whispers with certainty that he'll receive a special blessing. With his family cheering, he steps forward. The crowd begins to murmur in envy, already assuming Errol will inherit something extraordinary since his parents, Farah, the sword princess, and Leon, the archmage, are both renowned. Errol closes his eyes, focuses his mind, and waits. But nothing happens. The priest falters, shocked, and finally announces what no one expected. Errol has no class at all. He is one of the rare cases, a classless hero. In an instant, the joyful expressions of his family collapse. Their excitement turns into disappointment, as if fate had scammed them. They whisper among themselves that his future is ruined, that he is destined to live as a talentless failure. The very next day, Errol is outside, practicing ordinary swordsmanship. His parents assure him that they won't cast him out of the house. Errol calmly tells them he's fine. He simply doesn't want to live as a freeloader. His sister promises that she'll support him no matter what. Looking at their worried faces, Errol reminds them that he has always trained with his mother in swordsmanship, so even without a class, he can still be useful. He even mutters that his mother is an awful teacher, since her incredible strength always sends him flying in practice. Hearing this, his mother smiles warmly, pleased that her son is so wise, while his father begins to think maybe he could even get a real job someday. Overwhelmed by all their fawning, Errol excuses himself and leaves to train. At the training grounds, he encounters two boys with the swordsman class dueling playfully. When they notice him, they sneer, asking what a classless boy like him is doing there. Errol simply replies that he has come to train, just like them. The boys laugh. After all, with their swordsman class, they don't even need to train. To mock him, they show off their smooth, skill-enhanced movements. Errol studies them carefully, impressed by their natural fluidity. Then, without hesitation, he asks if he can fight them. One of the boys bursts out laughing at his audacity, but Errol stands firm, saying, "I don't need a class." Insulted, the boy accepts the challenge, eager to put the classless child in his place. Before starting, he warns Errol to make sure his protection blessing is active, a temporary shield given to all at birth, which recharges when the user isn't hurt. Errol nods. He won't lose his life here. With rage burning, the boy charges at him. Yet to his shock, Errol parries the attack with ease. He dodges another slash, then locks blades with him in a parry. The second boy urges his friend to finish the match quickly, but the boy growls that Errol isn't easy to handle. Blow after blow, they trade parries, until frustration pushes the boy to cheat. He signals for his partner to join in. The second swordsman leaps in from behind, but Errol senses him and dodges at the last moment. Watching them stumble into each other, Errol realizes something important. Their class grants them strength, but not teamwork. Seizing the moment, he moves. In an instant, he vanishes from their sight and reappears beneath one of them, landing a powerful uppercut that knocks the boy unconscious. The other charges desperately, but trips over his fallen partner. Errol swiftly ends it, knocking him out as well. With both opponents on the ground, Errol calmly declares his victory. Enraged, the boys accuse him of striking while their guard was down and demand a rematch. Errol agrees without hesitation. But before they can begin, a sharp voice cuts through the tension. A red-haired boy steps forward, warning them not to make excuses. He says, "On the battlefield, you won't get away with that," coldly. He scolds them as a disgrace to all swordsmen. The defeated boys instantly go quiet, whispering about his identity. One of them recognizes him as Evan's son, the child of the village security captain. The redhead ignores them and approaches Errol. "You're the son of Sword Princess Farah, aren't you?" he asks. Errol nods. He acknowledges that his swordsmanship is solid, clearly learned from his mother, but reminds him that those he defeated were inexperienced children. He raises his blade, eyes sharp. "Fight me. I'll show you the true power of the swordsman class." The duel begins. Unlike the others, the redhead strikes carry weight and discipline. Their blades clash fiercely, sparks flying. The watching boys are stunned that a classless child can stand his ground. Yet Errol notices his opponent's flaw. His strikes, though strong, are fueled by anger. Waiting for an opening, Errol counters. But the redhead suddenly unleashes a technique, twin slice. His first slash is blocked, but the second cuts through, slamming Errol into a wall. Blood drips from the wound. For the first time, Errol loses his composure. "What was that?" he demands. The redhead smirks. "A swordsman class skill. A classless like you can't block it." Errol wipes his mouth and glares. "Then I'll practice until I can." His resolve only deepens, and for the first time, the redhead acknowledges his resilience. Days pass. At home, his sister tries to sneak a kiss to wake him up, only for him to push her away coldly. Their playful squabble continues through breakfast, but Errol remains focused. He spends his days outside training relentlessly. His sister doesn't understand why he pushes himself so hard after being beaten. Her mother gently reveals the truth, showing her a chest filled with broken swords, proof of his endless practice. The sight shocks her sister, but also fills her with admiration. Meanwhile, out in the forest, Errol trains harder than ever. He mimics the redhead's twin slice, and finally, his own blade splits the air with the same force. Smiling, he whispers that the pain was worth it. But suddenly, a goblin lunges from the bushes. Without hesitation, Errol slashes it down with twin slice. But his moment of triumph is cut short by a thunderous roar. A massive hobgoblin towers before him. He's ready to call for the village guards until a scream pierces the woods. The voice is familiar. Heart racing, Errol rushes towards it. He finds the red-haired boy, bloodied and cornered by the hobgoblin. There's no time to think. As the beast raises its club for the kill, Errol strikes from behind with his perfected twin slice. The monster collapses with a roar. Errol stands victorious, breathing hard, realizing he's finally mastered the footwork. The redhead stumbles into his arms, badly wounded and with his protection blessing shattered. Errol quickly offers him holy water, watching as his wounds vanish. The boy scowls, frustrated at Errol's strength, but can't deny his gratitude. "How did you learn that skill without a class?" he asks. Errol answers calmly. "Through endless training, timing, and footwork." "You were my teacher," he admits. "Every time you knocked me down, you helped me learn." The redhead, stunned, accepts his challenge for a rematch. The two raise their swords once more. Their twin slices collide, but this time, Errol adds something new. A third strike. The redhead gasps,
Twin Slice has only 2 strikes. Not for me, Errol says. Without a class, I can mold my technique however I want. His 3rd slice lands, knocking the boy down. The redhead desperate to overcome him, but every time Errol adapts, his speed, his power, his cunning, overwhelming the boy. Finally, with his sword pointed at his rival, Errol declares this result was only to be expected. Defeated and frustrated, the redhead can only grit his teeth. Errol walks away, victorious. Days later, over dinner, Farah tells her son that Evan's boy has left for training in Bria. Errol tilts his head curiously. What's Bria? Her mother smiles gently. The city of swords. I once trained there before I married.
Errol's eyes widen with excitement. A place where he could truly grow stronger. His journey as a classless hero has only just begun.